Live from the Big Beefy Man Cave in New Bedford, Massachusetts. This is the YouTube channel vlog show in which video games, flash game show gameplays, along with sports and wrestling news are the norm. This is the YouTube channel vlog show of positivity, good times, and fun. This is Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. And now, here's the host of the show, the perpetrator of these shenanigans, Big Beefy E himself, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. Well, hello there, everyone. Once again, welcome to another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, November the 2nd, 2022, 10:04 p.m. Just finished watching AEW Dynamite. A lot of things went down. A lot of things have been shocking and happening and all that good stuff. And I know there is some news in AEW that not a lot of people are going to be fans of. But I always watch I try to watch every wrestling organization there is to get the stories and, to report to anybody who has not watched it or has no intentions of watching it and they know what happened and all that. And I've always get my opinions on a lot of stuff here. AEW Dynamite. It kicked off with the Darby Allin versus Jade Lethal. That match went one-on-one. And, Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt were too busy clowning around trying to interfere in the matchup to the point where referee Bryce Remsburg decided to eject both Satnam Singh and Jay Lethal. And then a mysterious figure dressed as Sting, but didn't wear the war paint, but the face paint, but had a mask on, blindsided Darby Allin from behind, and ended up costing him the matchup, costing Allin the matchup as Jay Lethal did pick up the victory. But, so Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt came back along with Lethal, and they started attacking Darby Allin. And as Darby Allin was laid out, they introduced a guy, and it looks like Cole Carter has joined forces with Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. Remember, Cole Carter used to be known as Two Dimes in the WWE under the NXT D'Angelo family. But that's not the big shocking thing that ever happened. He said something big is going to happen. Don't know what that was. So Sting supposedly was supposed to come out. They played his music and everything else. But there was a mysterious figure wearing a cowboy hat in the middle of the ring holding some kind of weapon. Come to find out, I'm going, that cannot be who I think it is. Yep. Holy slap nuts, Batman. Jeff Jarrett is now in AEW. He clobbered Darby Allin in the back. He clobbered Darby Allin in the head with a guitar so badly, blood was coming out from the back of Darby Allin's head. And it seems like Jeff Jarrett is in a ticked off mood. He's back to his mean ways as he was in WCW, and he decided to utter that. The reason why there's only one reason why I like Jeff Jarrett. Only one. The word slap nuts. Because it's a funny word. I like the word. I like to call people slap nuts once in a while. That's the only thing I like about Jeff Jarrett. So Jeff Jarrett, in a crabby mood, decided to declare war on AEW. I don't know what that was about. So kind of realized, I know a lot of people are not fans of Jeff Jarrett. Don't even like the fact that Jeff Jarrett's in AEW. Might I digress? I'm just gonna, but I still can. Jeff Jarrett wants to be a slapnut. Well, let him be a slapnut. So let's see what happens when his slapnut ways try to invade AEW. I don't know if Jeff Jarrett will be the guy to solve the problems in the AEW locker room. Maybe it makes it worse. I don't know. We shall see what the situation is. I'm just, I was kind of shocked that Jeff Jarrett's in AEW, man. I don't know. Slap nuts. He always will be a slap nut. Because he is a slap nut. And I like using the word slap nut. So this gives me a good excuse to use the word slap nuts. Because it's a funny word. And I like the word. So that's my excuse of why the only thing I like about Jeff Jarrett is that I can use the word slap nuts. I may be obsessed with the word. So it's like I can tell somebody, shut up, slap nuts. Something like that. So, whatever. All I know is I should name that team Team Slapnuts. You know. Alright, so. Yep, so old Slapnuts is back. That's my nickname for Jeff Jarrett, old Slapnuts. And John Moxley cut a promo on Lee Moriarty as they got prepared for the World Title Eliminator matchup. John Moxley and Lee Moriarty went one-on-one. Was a good, decent match, but Moxley did win in the end. But Ethan Page hits Moxley with the big boot after the matchup, and Ethan Page will be joining Dante Martin in that World Title Eliminator tournament. Renee Paquette was supposed to sit down and interview with Britt Baker and Saraya. Britt Baker wants to be a brat, so Saraya did talk about it for a while. Did talk to Renee Paquette, and she goes, when she asked about what her availability in the ring is, but then Saraya goes, "Well, I'll say that for next week. I got one more doctor to consult." And Ravens quarterback Lamar, because this took place in Baltimore, by the way, took place in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, was in attendance. Tony Schiavone interviewed William Regal about MJF. And then the Acclaim decided to celebrate Billy Gunn's birthday. And, so they gave him a lot of gifts and everything else. And, they had a lot of fun. And then the Gun Club decided to ruin that by attacking them, along with W. Morrissey, who helped attack them. So, but FTR chases the Guns and W. Morrissey away, but they said they took the AEW tag team title, but handed over to the Claims. We'll want that pretty soon. We'll want that pretty soon. Tony Schiavone interviewed Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter as they both run their mouths about Saraya. And Jamie Hayter, well, she's got a shot against Toni Storm for the AEW Interim World Championship, Women's World Championship at Full Gear. So there's that to deal with. Then the Ring of Honor World title was on the line. Chris Jericho's running his mouth about whoever. But Colt Cabana, a former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, showed up and accepted Jericho's open challenge. Jericho beat Colt Cabana, but then they tried to hurt Ian Riccaboni again. He tried to escape, but then Matt Menard, Daddy Magic, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker, two of the biggest loudmouths in AEW because they don't shut up enough. I think you should have Jeff Jarrett join the Jericho Appreciation Society. They got a bunch of loudmouths, yakety yakety yak 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 yak. They should call themselves the Loudmouth Society. Sheepish. They don't know when to shut up. Anyways, they tried to do it, but then Claudio Castagnoli came out to attack Jericho. Then Bryan Danielson, then Wheeler Yuta, Sammy Guevara joined in on the fray. I'll tell you one thing, the BCC and the Jericho Appreciation Society are going to war. Renee Paquette interviewed Death Triangle, and as Fenix was getting ready for his matchup against Orange Cassidy and Luchasaurus, and then Pac says, if you need any help, think about it. I got a hammer here that you can use. And they had the matchup, and during the matchup, while as Luchasaurus was dominating, Jungle Boy Jack Perry came out to interfere and hit Luchasaurus. Remember, in the back of the steel chair, there is no disqualification in this matchup. So Ray Fenix should have thought about that. But in the end, though, Orange Cassidy did retain his title, and then Pac attacked him. But then all of a sudden, Katsuyori Shibata from New Japan showed up, and then as Orange Cassidy holds up the All-Atlantic Championship, Shibata points at it, wants it, hands him Orange Cassidy hands him the contract. So it'll be a dream matchup for the AEW All-Atlantic title as Orange Cassidy defends it against Katsuyori Shibata. Alright, it'll be a heck of a matchup. But then you got, Tony Schiavone interviewing Swerve Strickland and Rick Ross. Looks like an 8-man tag team match is going to happen. It seems like, I think probably the Gun Club. I don't know. Is it the Gun Club and Swerve and Glory versus FTR and the Acclaim? That'll be interesting if that happens. Um, so, and Rick Ross, who was probably a close friend of Swerve Strickland, was there. So, hanging out with Swerve Strickland. The TBS title on the line, Jade Cargill defends it against Marina Shafir. I think someone needs to work with these two ladies on cutting promos and having a personality and just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of these ladies, but, I've always respect female talent. The reason why I made a joke on the tweet about JD from NY, because he's been disrespecting women. I've always been an old school stickler, and I don't care how bad the women are in the ring, or or their personality or anything like that. I always try to respect women, and I made a joke about it. A lot of people got on my case on Twitter about it because I did not know he was a Braves fan. He probably said, "Do you ever watch the show?" And no, I have no interest because all he does is bash women, whether it be WWE or AEW. It doesn't matter to me. You disrespect a woman on the roster, on any roster, and expect to be attacked. And I didn't care too much. I didn't care too much about my tweets because sometimes they'll catch traction, sometimes they don't. This one caught traction, and a couple of friends of mine were already got on my case about it, so I had to take it down. So it was like, no big deal. But you know what? I just didn't think we gain that much traction. It's like, oh boy, what have I done here? That type of deal. So I'm not defending Marina Shafir and Jade Cargill. They do need work. They really do need serious work, though. But I don't know why, I think the women's division has been bogged down by these two. I mean, Marina Shafir is a former MMA fighter. I think she should have stayed in the WWE could have helped her the most. I think, my personal opinion. Because you're probably going to need Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, who are two of the best. But even though Ronda Rousey is not good on the mic and promos, I really don't know. Sometimes I ask myself, what's the WWE thinking? The only most successful MMA fighter transition into a WWE superstar I would have to go with Ken Shamrock. Former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion. He didn't win the big one, but he went on the ring against some of the best in WWE at the time. So, and he also is a former King of the Ring winner. And Ken Shamrock's also a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, I do believe. So, I think one of the best successful transitions from MMA to the WWE is Ken Shamrock, in my opinion. Marina Shafir needs a little bit of work, obviously. But I think, when it comes to wrestling skills, wrestling and MMA, a little two different things, But, whatever. They try to work hard every single day. Gotta respect that, but a lot of people don't like Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir. I'm not a big fan of them. My favorite ladies in AEW are Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. But Jade Cargill did retain the title, but Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero were too busy running their mouths, taunting Jade Cargill about having the TBS title. And after the match, Kiera Hogan tried to attempt it, but then Kiera Hogan got laid out. Jade Cargill was not very happy. And then there is a House of Black promo. It's like, what have you done? What's going on? Is there a death of Malachi Black? I don't know. Some of these creepy promos are like, I don't know. And they did another promo about the Bucks and Kenny Omega. Are they eliminating them or something like that? Or is this a play on of canceling Omega and the Bucks and they're actually coming back? We don't know. I think the mind games of the Bucks and Omega do continue on, nonetheless. And then Toni Storm, who is sporting a new Marilyn Monroe hairdo, which I kind of like. I think she looks gorgeous. Cut a promo on Jamie Hayter because her and Hayter were once friends, and Hayter changed and everything else. So, like I said, they'll be battling at Full Gear for the AEW Interim World Championship, Women's World Championship. Main event time: the Ring of Honor television title on the line. Samoa Joe defending against Brian Cage in the Embassy. Heck of a matchup, but in the end, Samoa Joe did retain his title. But in the Gates of Agony, Toa Leona and Khan attacked Samoa Joe, and then Wardlow came to his aid. And then, by chasing the Embassy away, but as that happened, Powerhouse Hobbs blindsides Wardlow and holds the TNT Championship up. I expect a rival between these two matchups. I think Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow going to be a heck of a matchup. Heck of a fight. Yeah, so overall, I think it's like I said, a few friends of mine are not fans of Jeff Jarrett. I'm not a huge fan of Jeff Jarrett. I was kind of shocked that he ended up in AEW. I didn't expect that to happen. That Jeff Jarrett would stay out of the spotlight for a bit, but that ain't the case, Tony Khan's desperate for help, man. Let me tell you. And it was like Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir. They, like I said, they need more improvement to be, I think is that, both of them, they need to work, and a lot of people say that Jade Cargill's unsafe and everything else, and I think they need to work on their wrestling skills. I mean, I know Marina Shafir is a decent MMA fighter, but this wrestling's a lot different than MMA. I know you won't be able to do all the stuff. I know Marina Shafir won't be able to do all the stuff that she did in MMA. But, sometimes in wrestling, professional wrestling and MMA, yeah, you got to do things a little different around there. And I think it's the problem with the creative teams, to be honest with you. They need to, help out Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir, in my personal opinion. But listen, I'm not JD from NY. I'm not going to diss these ladies and everything else. But they do need work, and I'm sure, more. I think the more they work hard, the more they're going to improve. Jade Cargill at 40-0. I don't know. Sometimes Tony Khan, I don't know what the heck is going on. Is she a face? Is she a heel? I don't know. Nyla Rose keeps stealing the titles, so I think they're trying to create a rivalry between Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill. Maybe, I don't really don't know. And like I say, a lot of people don't like Jeff Jarrett. A lot of people don't like Jade Cargill and Marina Shafir, but it is what it is, be it as it may. And although I got something to talk about Jade Cargill tomorrow night as a topic for Rant and Rave. Let's just say it involves someone else, and I'm going to really go to town because it's too funny for me to even not talk about it. And sometimes it's more like what are you thinking? I'll tell you who that person is that tried to talk to Miss Cargill. So we'll see what happens. Okay, it's gonna be very interesting to say the least, though. But right now, I think the biggest shock. I didn't expect Jeff Jarrett to come to AEW. I don't know whether everybody's going for Impact or what. And Jeff Jarrett says he's declaring war on AEW. It's going to be very interesting from that point of view to see what he has to say. Not a lot of folks are fans of Jeff Jarrett. The only reason why I like Jeff Jarrett is one word: slap nuts. So let's see what happens. Alright then, so that's all the time we have on the show for tonight. Episode 129 of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Tomorrow will be episode 130 of the show. We'll play the 8th edition of Pressure Luck. Player 2 is the returning champ on both the Tamarkin and Banks versions. I'll see if I can try to change that. But until that next episode, Mr. Announcer, please take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is Mr. Lima speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget Production, and in association with A Sweet Bumbling Bofo Raver Telepictures and Distribution. See you next episode, and have a very blessed day.